Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So last week I had posted a video chatting with you about what my focuses were for 2022, and they were: 1, documenting more of the moments that matter to me without taking away from them, and 2, experimenting more with video and film. So in the spirit of last week's video, I wanted to share with you guys today some of the lessons that I learned from trying to document our holiday traditions that just happened. So if you're like me and you want to spend a little bit more time and energy this year documenting these moments, documenting your family, then let's get into it. So the first lesson that I basically learned is that 1, certain activities are more photographic than others. So when we were doing cookie decorating was a lot more photographic than when we were looking at Christmas lights. I did get photos when we were looking at Christmas lights, but I didn't get as many photos as when we were cookie decorating. And then Christmas lights is a lot more photographic than when we were doing games night. I did not get a lot of photos from games night. And so depending on the activity that you are doing, it's gonna yield different results because it's just some activities are more photographic than others. 2, experiment with different forms of memory keeping. So on one of the days I took still photographs. On another day I had created a time lapse of us putting together our Christmas tree. On another day I did a long form video on Christmas Day of us opening our Christmas presents. And then like at New Year's I had created a mini film of our New Year's tradition of making mochi. And so based on all of this experimenting I did with taking still photographs and the mini films and the time lapse, I was able to kind of determine that like what time lapse and the mini films were one of the best ways for me to document what was happening, documenting again the moment that mattered to me, but also not taking away from it. I really found when I was creating the mini films, I was able to quickly just get the videos that I needed, get the clips that I needed, and then spend the rest of the time like being in the moment. And so I was still able to creatively capture what was happening and have that for memory keepsake afterwards, but not taking away from the moments. Focusing on why instead of how. So I have this huge tendency, I'm very bad for it, where if I tell myself that if I can't take it on my Olympus, if I can't control the ISO, the shutter speed, the aperture, everything, if I can't control it, then there's no point taking the photo, because if I take it on my phone, the quality isn't going to be as good, and I don't know if I should post it to Instagram because like the quality isn't going to be there than if you take it on like a better camera. And so sometimes I just won't take the photo. And it's something that I'm going to try curbing, trying to do differently this year. And a classic example is actually on the day that we were looking at Christmas lights this year, I had my Olympus, I was using the 12-40, and I had taken a photo of my family in front of Santa because I really wanted a photo with Santa. And the photo, it turned out a lot better than the phone version because I was able to control the ISO and everything to it. And but they wanted me in the photo, and that meant I had to do like a selfie with my phone because I didn't have my tripod with me. Not that I would want to set up the tripod because there's other people waiting and stuff like that. So I had to take it on my phone, and I was really hesitant taking it on my phone because I knew the quality wasn't going to be as good. And I just forget that like it's not important necessarily the how or any of it. It's more important on the why. So I'm trying to focus more on why am I taking the photo? Why am I trying to document this moment? What is it for? And then letting the how follow. So if the how means taking it on my Olympus because I can, then I will. But if the how means that I have to take it on my phone and it has to be really quick and it might not be the greatest quality, then I'll use my phone because I'm trying to more focus on the why instead of the how. 4 is simple is better. So during this entire time that I was documenting our holiday, I was mostly just using the 12-40 millimeter. It's my go-to lens for a lot of things, and it's because of the versatility. I can get more wide angle shots, and then I can get more closer shots, and so I really love my 12-40 millimeter. However, if I was to pick a second lens for like this whole holiday documentation, I would have chosen the 25 millimeter. It's not as versatile personally just because of the spaces that we were in, and that's why I like the 12 to 40, but the 25 millimeter is also a really good option. Of course, there were times though that I wanted to use the 7 to 14 millimeter because on Christmas Day I was having a hard time getting everyone in the shot, and so, but then you fall into the trap of, oh, I should bring the 7 to 14 for this situation, I should bring the 40 to 150, and you start, bringing all of your camera gear, and it becomes cumbersome. So I really found simpler is better. I used one lens for the entire time that I was documenting our family's tradition, and that was the 12 to 40. I really like the 25 millimeter because it's a lot smaller, and I have used it like when we went to a Soyuz last year. All I used was the 25 millimeter, and it was great because it was so small, lightweight, and compact that I was able to like bring my camera everywhere with me. So I definitely found just simpler is better. Lastly, it's super simple, but just have the camera out. Have the camera out. Have the lens cap off. Maybe leave the camera on if you know the activity is only going to take about half an hour and you have an extra battery, like just leaving the camera on, because then you're not fussing around, you're not fussing around with turning your camera on, with taking the lens cap off, with all of that kind of stuff. It just removes the barriers from you taking the photo and being in the moment. So I definitely found on the days that I had done those things, I had my camera out, I left it on, it was right beside me, it was ready to go when something was happening. I was able to quickly get the shot and then like be in the moment again, versus on the days that I decided to leave the camera in the bag by the front door at my parents' place, I didn't get a lot of photos those days because obviously the camera was not out. So it's really simple, but just have the camera out and ready to go, and you'll be surprised on how many more photos you can get and how much more you could be in the moment than if you're fussing around. So those are some things that I learned from trying to document our holiday traditions this past year. If you're anything like me and you're just really trying to spend more time and energy in documenting these moments that matter to you without taking away from them, then I really hope this video helped in your future endeavors of documenting your family. If you like this video, then hit that like button below and subscribe. I would love it if you also go follow me on Instagram, because I do post more often to my Instagram stories than anywhere else. And I'll see you in the next video.